In today's world, people often say that indifference means they are cold and don't care. But according to Stoic thought, it can be a great strength that helps us deal with bad people and negative situations. Alexander the Great, one of the great Stoics, said, "Choose not to be hurt, and you won't feel hurt. Don't feel hurt, and you haven't been hurt." This sentence not only says that ignoring bad behavior is not a sign of weakness, but it also says that it is a sign of inner power and complete self-control. Indifference doesn't mean ignoring everything and not doing anything. Instead, it lets us respond more intelligently and effectively. Instead of reacting on the spot, we can calmly assess the situation, make smart decisions, and keep our cool. According to a 2020 report from the American Psychological Association, people who can control their emotions tend to make better decisions and have fewer regrets later on. This means that indifference can be a powerful weapon to protect us from bad people because it helps us keep our minds steady, to protect our mental health and make better life choices. Let's learn more about how to use the Stoic theory of indifference to live a more peaceful and meaningful life. Number 1. Better performance. Keeping up high work performance is not only hard, but it's also a constant battle. Unexpected events and bad people can throw us off like a storm tosses a small boat in the open sea. The power of indifference is a strong shield that protects us from bad effects and helps us achieve optimal work performance. Indifference not only keeps us steady in the waves, but it also brings peace of mind, letting us focus on what really matters in life. At work, we often have to deal with stressful and pressured situations. For example, when a coworker intentionally causes trouble or spreads rumors, it can make you feel insecure and anxious, which can affect your mental health and make you less productive at work. Anxiety makes it harder to focus, which makes you more likely to make mistakes and less creative when you need to solve hard problems. One big reason bad people can affect us is that we are too attached to the results of our work. We often have too high hopes for the end result, and when others get in the way, we easily feel let down and disappointed. This emotional attachment makes us open to criticism and bad behavior from others. When we care too much about outcomes, we let outside factors affect our lives. This creates an imbalance because we waste too much time and energy on issues that aren't important. Instead of focusing on the work process and enjoying each step, we get caught in a whirlpool of anxiety and stress. To better understand the benefits of detached thinking, let's look at the difference between focusing on the process and the results. If we only care about the results, we might miss important steps and chances to get better. On the other hand, if we focus on the process, we pay attention to every little thing, enjoy every moment, and learn from our mistakes. This helps us build skills, be more productive, and make better products. One of the main ideas behind Stoic thought is detachment, or not caring about things we can't change. You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Understand this and you will find power. When we know that we can only control our thoughts and actions, we are free to deal with any problems and strong enough to win. The benefits of detached thinking go beyond making us more productive at work. They also help us find inner peace. When we aren't affected by outside factors, we can keep our minds calm and focus on long-term goals. This not only helps us do our jobs better, but it also makes us happy and satisfied with life. Have you ever tried using detached thinking in your work or personal life? If not, give it a try and see the difference it makes. Indifference is not a lack of responsibility or insensitivity. It's a smart way to protect yourself from bad things and focus on what really matters. If you practice indifference, you'll find yourself getting stronger and freer and making great progress in your work and personal life. According to Stoic philosophy, the power of indifference is not only a way to protect yourself from bad people, but also the key to getting better at your job and finding inner peace. Adopt this way of thinking and see how it changes your life. Improving performance is important in many areas, from personal efficiency to the efficiency of a company. Better performance means reaching goals more quickly, being more productive, and making the most of the resources you have. Having clear, well-defined goals gives you direction and a way to measure your progress. To set goals, use the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Make a clear plan for what you need to do to reach your goals. For example, say you want to increase sales by 15% in the next quarter by targeting new markets and improving customer service. Instead of just saying improve sales, describe your goal clearly. Managing your time well helps you prioritize chores, lowers stress, and boosts productivity. Use apps that keep track of time, to-do lists, and schedules. Use the Eisenhower matrix to decide which jobs are most important and which are urgent. Set aside specific times to do important chores and stay away from multitasking, which can slow you down. Getting new skills and information all the time is important for keeping up with success. Spend money on training, go to workshops, and ask for comments. Encourage an attitude of always learning and getting better. For example, a software developer goes to coding boot camps and online classes on a daily basis to learn about new programming languages and technologies. Clear communication makes sure that everyone is on the same page, which cuts down on mistakes and makes it easier for people to work together. Use a variety of platforms and tools for contact to make it easy and clear to share information. Get people to give and receive comments openly and actively. For example, the team meets regularly, gets updates, and uses project management software to keep track of work and share news. Number 2, freedom and authenticity. Have you ever thought about why we often feel like we have to follow the crowd and follow social norms? In this society, where norms and conformity are so important, behavior is shaped by a shared set of values. Most people feel safe following social norms and acting like others. They don't do this because they can't make their own decisions, but because it keeps them from being criticized and rejected by society. However, this safety comes at the cost of giving up personal freedom and being true to yourself. We often fear other people's opinions, afraid that we won't be accepted or included. This fear is like a dark shadow that haunts us, making us afraid to live true to ourselves and say what really matters to us. We worry that if we don't do what society expects, we will be alone and unloved. Stoic philosophy says that to live a meaningful life, we need to be unconcerned by social norms and other people's opinions. Be brave enough to follow your dreams and goals, even if it means going against what most people think is right. This doesn't mean being indifferent. It means sticking to your own beliefs and not letting other people control your life. To do this, you need to believe in yourself and your abilities. We can handle all the criticism and judgment that comes our way when we believe in ourselves. We can also stay on the path we have chosen. Imagine an artist who wants to be creative but is always worried about what other people will think. He might never try new things. But if he stops caring what other people think and believes in his own abilities, he will be able to create freely and honestly. This is where indifference comes in handy. It protects the artist from negativity and lets him truly fly with his own wings. Vincent van Gogh was a great example of this. He often faced rejection and ridicule from coworkers, family, and society. His works were ignored and not recognized. But instead of giving in to the pressure, he chose to ignore what other people thought and keep pursuing his artistic vision. This wasn't a sign of apathy. It was a way to protect his creative spirit from outside negativity. Van Gogh painted even though he was having a hard time with money and his mental health. He was so determined that he made hundreds of paintings that are now considered masterpieces of art. Even though he didn't see his success during his lifetime, his indifference and persistence helped him stay true to himself and his vision. This shows that indifference is not just a mental state, but an inner strength that helps us get through tough times and keep going after our goals no matter what. The power of indifference in Stoic philosophy comes from the freedom and honesty we experience when we don't care about what other people think, and when we don't let outside criticism and comments shake us. It frees us from society's control. This lets us follow our dreams and be true to ourselves, even if that means going against social norms. Freedom and authenticity not only make us happy and satisfied, but they also help us reach our goals. Remember that indifference doesn't mean we don't care about other people. It means we choose which factors to accept. This way, we can focus on what's important and live a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said that everything that exists is in a way the seed of what will be. If we can learn to ignore negative opinions and trust ourselves, we will find true freedom and the ability to live our lives as they really are. This not only makes us happy and satisfied, but it also helps us reach our goals. You have done amazing things by beating all of life's challenges and roadblocks. As you seek freedom and authenticity, remember that you don't have to live your life based on what other people expect of you. Ignoring other people's opinions not only keeps you safe from bad people, but it also helps you find and live true to your true self. Follow your dreams with confidence and live a meaningful, free, and authentic life. If you've ever felt pressured by other people's opinions or afraid of being rejected for being yourself, please share your story in the comments. Let's talk about the power of apathy and how it can keep us safe from bad people. Freedom and sincerity are central ideas in philosophy, psychology, and sociology. They are often talked about together when people talk about what it means to be human and how to define oneself. Freedom usually means being able to make your own decisions without outside pressure. Authenticity, on the other hand, means being true to yourself and speaking out about your real beliefs, wants, and feelings. Freedom means having the power or right to do, say, or think what you want without being stopped or limited. External freedom means that there are no limits from the outside. Internal freedom means that the mind is free. Authenticity means living in line with your real self, values, and beliefs, instead of what other people expect of you. Knowing yourself, accepting yourself, and having the courage to be real are all parts of it. For someone to be authentic, they need to be able to explore and share their true self without worrying about being judged or stifled. Being real makes freedom better. Being honest with yourself makes the choices and actions you make more important and satisfying, which gives you a deeper sense of freedom. Personal growth. Being open to freedom and being yourself helps you learn more about yourself and grow as a person. It helps people figure out what they really want and follow their hobbies. Mental health. Being true to yourself and feeling free can lower stress and anxiety, which is good for your mental health and general well-being. Promoting diversity and appreciating different points of view and ways of being can make a space more welcoming where people feel free to be themselves. Supporting individual rights. For a society to be healthy, it is important that laws and social structures support people's freedoms and allow them to express themselves honestly. Number 3. Rational and objective decisions. Kindness isn't just a state of mind. It's also a powerful tool that helps us make smart, unbiased choices. Do not underestimate how important it is to not care about your feelings and biases. When we let them take over, we are much less able to think clearly and logically about situations. Feelings and biases often have negative effects on the way we make decisions. People who are angry, scared, or jealous will find it hard to see things clearly and rationally. For example, a manager might fire an employee because they don't like them, even if the employee was competent and made important contributions to the company. In this case, the manager's emotions and biases led to an irrational decision that hurt not only the employee, but also the organization as a whole. The benefits of approaching situations with an indifferent mindset are clear. When we can keep our minds calm and not let negative emotions get in the way, we can look at things more thoroughly and fairly. For example, if one party can stay indifferent during a business negotiation, they will be less affected by the other party's pressure tactics, and they will be able to make decisions that are best for themselves. Indifference helps us not let our emotions get in the way, but instead focus on important and long-term factors. One of the main ideas behind Stoic thought is that indifference is important for making smart choices. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius said that if we want to live a good life, we need to learn to control our feelings and not let them decide what we do. They said that we can do this by not letting negative thoughts affect us. Decisions don't have to be based on short-term feelings. They can be based on logic and careful thought. If a man is afraid of losing his job during an uncertain economy, he could easily get caught up in a downward spiral of worry. However, from the point of view of Stoic philosophy, it is important to understand that worrying about things that are out of one's control is pointless. Instead, he should focus on what he can do right now. By controlling his thoughts and actions, he can make a positive change. Stoic philosophy tells us that how we react to things determines what happens. Worrying doesn't fix problems, but being calm and clear can help him see the chances to get better that are hidden in his problems. By focusing on good and meaningful actions, he not only makes things better in his current situation, but he also builds confidence and stability in his soul. This is the key to getting through tough times and finding the right way to move forward in life. The paradoxical idea of indifference is important in Stoic philosophy. Being indifferent doesn't mean you don't care or feel anything. It means your mind isn't affected by negative feelings. Indifference helps us see things more clearly, which lets us make more fair and logical decisions. In fact, because we aren't affected by negative emotions, indifference lets us show care and love more honestly and effectively. By keeping an indifferent attitude, we not only protect ourselves from bad influences, but we also build a good and happy life in line with the spirit of Stoic philosophy. Try being indifferent in your life and see how it changes things for the better. If you liked this video, please say what you think by leaving a comment. Making choices is an important part of life that affects both personal and work areas. Making decisions that are rational and objective means using a structured, logical method that keeps emotions and biases to a minimum and aims for the best result based on the information that is available. This method is important for getting things done quickly and correctly, making it easy to see the way forward in many situations. Learn how to make choices that are logical and fair, and you'll be able to solve problems better, be more productive, and do better overall. Why it's important. Clearly defining the problem is the first step in making good decisions. How to get what you want. Find the main problem, its scope, and what it means. Tell the difference between symptoms and the reasons behind them. For example, instead of choosing improving sales, say increase sales by 10% in the North region within 6 months. Choices that are well informed are more likely to work. How to get what you want. Get information from reliable sources. Think about the quality and usefulness of the data. Look at things from different points of view. For example, look into market trends, customer wants, and competitor strategies before putting out a new product. It's important to look at all of your choices so that you can pick the best one. How to get what you want. Come up with a lot of different answers, including creative and unusual ones. Write down the pros and cons of each one. When picking a software option, look at the features, costs, and user reviews of different platforms. Importance. A thorough evaluation helps you choose the best choice. How to get what you want. Use things like cost, time, risks, and rewards, along with other factors, to evaluate each option. Use tools to help you make decisions such as cost-benefit analysis or SWOT analysis. To choose a marketing plan, you should look at your budget, the number of people you want to reach, and your potential return on investment (ROI). Number 4. Emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to stay calm and steady in the face of difficulties. Think of yourself as a boat, floating on a rough sea, and Stoicism as the lighthouse that keeps you on track during life's storms. Epictetus said that people are not disturbed by things, but by how they see them. This insight remains powerful today. For example, a man afraid of losing his job during an uncertain economy should not obsess over what he cannot control. Instead, he should focus on improving his skills, building connections, and strengthening his mindset. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions. Worry drains energy. Calmness creates clarity. Indifference in Stoicism does not mean apathy. It means staying mentally steady when facing things we cannot change. We cannot stop other people from speaking negatively, but we can control our response. Nelson Mandela is a powerful example. He spent 27 years in prison, Yet he did not allow bitterness to control his spirit. He used that time to grow, reflect, and strengthen his convictions. His resilience transformed him into a symbol of justice and freedom. This shows that Stoicism is not theory, but a lived philosophy. Emotional resilience allows us to handle dishonesty, adversity, and hardship with rational judgment instead of emotional chaos. It helps us maintain inner peace, even when the outside world is unstable. Emotional resilience is not natural talent. It can be developed through mindfulness, self-awareness, emotional regulation, and strong relationships. Number 5. Affordable contentment. Affordable contentment challenges the idea that happiness comes from wealth and possessions. True satisfaction is found in experiences, relationships, mindfulness, and gratitude. Happiness from experiences lasts longer than the pleasure of acquiring material goods. Practicing gratitude daily helps shift focus from lack to abundance. Simplifying life reduces mental and physical clutter, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. Strong relationships bring joy, emotional support, and belonging. Mindfulness strengthens appreciation for small moments and reduces stress. Stoic philosophy teaches that happiness depends not on what we have, but on how we perceive what we have. Epictetus said that happiness does not rely on possessions, but on how we value them. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that changing the way we think changes our level of contentment. Seneca demonstrated this by voluntarily living in poverty for short periods to prove that happiness does not depend on luxury. He learned that simplicity reduces anxiety and strengthens inner peace. Reducing desires leads to long-term stability and fulfillment. Indifference, in this context, protects us from endless craving and keeps us aligned with core values. Affordable contentment teaches us to build a meaningful life within our means, focusing on what truly lasts. Number 6. Closing reflection. Indifference is not apathy. Indifference is control and freedom from negative external forces. It protects us from harmful people and allows us to live with clarity and stability. We cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond. When we master this, we gain inner peace, freedom, authenticity, and resilience. Think about how indifference can transform the way you handle challenges. Have you experienced moments where staying calm helped you make better decisions? Are you ready to apply Stoic principles to improve your daily life? If this message resonated with you, like the video, share it, and leave a comment about your experience with indifference. Subscribe to continue exploring Stoicism and how it can guide you toward a more meaningful and peaceful life. Thank you.